Perhaps you heard of Ayurveda when you were exploring natural tools for health. Perhaps a teacher first mentioned the word to you or even taught you a little bit about it. And then you were curious, sought some more information. But then at some point, you recognized or became inspired by Ayurveda and what Ayurveda has to offer. Maybe you experienced the health benefit of Ayurveda, or just after looking at it, there seemed to have a number of pieces that all fit together in a beautiful way, and then that brought you here. That got you inspired to perhaps study Ayurveda more deeply, maybe even to make a clinical career out of it. That's what happened to me when I first heard about Ayurveda, um, and I learned a little bit about it. It seemed to have a great mix uh, of very humanistic approaches to health that was very attractive to me, and the light bulb went off at some point, and I got very interested, very passionate about it, and so I imagine that many of you are in a similar position and wondering, how do I get more of this? How do I understand what Ayurveda has to offer? That wonderful blend of delicious food and great perspective on health that's very grassroots and approachable to so many people at so many levels. And I'm inspired by those things, and I hope you are too. And so tonight I'm going to give a introduction to our certification courses, our online courses where you can study Ayurveda in depth and on a professional level to learn Ayurveda's insights. And my name is John Immel. I'm the director and founder of the Joyful Belly School of Ayurveda and of the Joyful Belly website. And we've been developing recipes and delivering online content and online courses to the public for over 15 years online, and it's been a great journey for us and for our graduates as well. And so I'm excited to talk about tonight's course and share with you what the course offers. In the beginning, I'll talk to you about the kinds of students we have, and then a bit about what the course offers. And then finally, towards the end, I'll talk about format of the course. So we'll have those three basic parts of tonight's discussion. And then finally, the fourth part, Q&A, where we get to talk with each other. So right off the bat, our two courses are the Fundamentals of Ayurvedic Medicine, which is a 2-year clinical program. It's entirely online, as all our courses. And the second course, Mastering Ayurvedic Digestion and Nutrition, a 1-year specialty course in digestive tract pathology. Those are our two courses that we offer. One, the broad course that has that breadth. We review the entire body, and then the second course, the digestion course, has that depth for that you'll need for specialization in Ayurvedic nutrition and digestive tract pathology. So those are our two programs, and let me talk just a little bit about them and what makes them different, and we'll start there. So this fundamentals course, as I mentioned, a 2-year program, 3 coaching calls a week, so that students in every time zone can attend. And the first year, we'll go over the training and Ayurveda's biocharacteristic theory of medicine. We'll just go through all of the fundamentals of Ayurveda's theory of medicine. And it is, I should mention, just even at the gate, our courses are rigorous. They're challenging courses. We are learning about the whole body, right? So that's a lot. And it is, it's an amazing journey, at times tough, but always insightful and always very growth oriented and experiential. So we take a very experiential approach to learning, And so when we're learning Ayurveda's theory of medicine, we're going to present that in a very practical, down to earth, easy to understand way, at the same time integrating all of the richness of Ayurveda. So that's year one. Year two in that program is clinic. And in year two, you're going to learn to apply all that you learn in year one to actual meetings with clients. So in year two, we'll take the theory and we'll discuss, for example, face diagnosis and an assessment of the eye and the pulse and the skin. So we'll take all that theory and use it to learn specific assessment. Then we'll take the theory and we'll learn to discuss specific recommendations, treatment, and also analysis of pathogenesis, right? How does a disease develop in a person? Is a really important question that Ayurveda tries to answer. How our lifestyle choices connect to the diseases and imbalances that develop in our body. We've got to connect all those dots in order to be great clinicians, and that's what pathogenesis is all about. So we'll be deepening in particular clinical context our knowledge of assessment, the development of disease, and our recommendations, so that you will feel very confident that you can see the whole person. Just before I started to give today's talk, I was talking with some of the folks on the call, and one person was saying how they got interested in Ayurveda because they're amazed by the body, and they want to learn about it. And the body is vast, and we're going to learn to see and even intuit the whole person. So by our learning, by our in-depth learning, we will have the broad perspective and the depth that we'll need to see a whole person on an individual case-by-case basis, something that Ayurveda specializes in. How can we understand how the mental outlook, emotional outlook, physical outlook or the physical state of being of our clients are all interrelated? So we'll be developing that intuition through building up that knowledge, and everything will be presented in a way that makes sense. Some folks approach Ayurveda in a very mystical way and almost in an otherworldly way. That's not us. We are going to present Ayurveda in a way that makes intuitive sense and rational sense to you, so that you will feel confident in the methods and techniques that you learn. And I think that will be exciting. You will be directly applicable to your life and the lives of the people you love and the community and public that you wish to serve. All right, so that's the first course, broad course. This course in Mastering Ayurvedic Digestion and Nutrition is a specialization course in digestion and nutrition. So some people think, oh, this is a one-year course, so it's the light one, and then the other one is the deep one, right? That's not true. This one is going to great depth just in the area of digestion. Now, in both courses, we talk about digestion, but in this specialization course, by week 3 of this course, we finish everything you learned about digestion in the 2-year course. And then the whole rest of the year, we're going deeper. So typically what happens is students will take both of these courses. They'll take the 2-year course, and then they'll be like, oh, I really do want to have a greater depth in the digestive area. And so they take this additional 1-year course to deepen their practice afterwards. Other students go in the opposite direction. Their vocation is in digestion. They start with this course, and then they want to broaden it out to understand all of Ayurveda with the other course. But there's very little overlap between these two courses. Some students take one or the other, and as I said, Many take both, and I think that feel very satisfied by each of these. We have students that have been master clinicians for 15 years, jumping into our digestion course. Gastroenterologists that have been practicing for 20 years, taking this course and mastering Ayurveda digestion and nutrition so that they get a holistic approach to something that they've been studying on a biochemical level for decades. So we invite those medical professionals into this course. If you don't have any background in Ayurveda and you want to know about it, come into our courses, and you will see that sometimes Western medical folks, when they go into a health and wellness course, they're expecting to see something sort of beyond the mind, right? Or that it's some sort of mystical healing. As I said, we will tie this in a way that makes absolute and perfect sense to and affirms the training that you've had, and sort of brings the bigger picture out of it. And that's that I think is really exciting. On some level, it's Ayurveda is something that you do after studying Western medicine and becoming a Western medical doctor, because you kind of need to know anatomy and physiology in order to practice it well. As the way things are in our country right now, and how Ayurveda is practiced, we will offer that anatomy and physiology, the Ayurvedic presentation of anatomy and physiology within the context of the course. So if you don't have a Western medical background, you will feel comfortable and at home leaping into these courses with even if you, like I said, even if you don't have a background in medicine. All right, great. So both of the courses our goal is to develop your insight and intuition into how the body works, right? Not by going beyond the mind, but by education and building up your knowledge level using Ayurveda's holistic methods and tools, so that you have that sharp and accurate intuition, well-developed intuition to guide you. Our courses are immersion courses. We're going to be immersing you in the experience as well as the knowledge of Ayurveda, so that you can internalize it. Every week we will have food and body awareness experiments that you will do to bring a very personal experience of Ayurveda to your practice. And I think that is a great way of educating. Good. We'll teach you how to work with clients. We'll teach you how to apply the practical knowledge to give diet, lifestyle, and herbal recommendations that will lead your clients to greater vitality and greater quality of life. This is a skill that you can offer to the world, to your community. And our school has a strong focus on helping you build a successful clinical practice. That's our goal. Our goal is your ability to help clients. Let me give a few quotes from our graduates. This is from Angela Rosoff, who graduated from the digestion course in 2017. I feel like I'm bursting with bodily awakening. My skin is more vibrant than ever. This is so powerful. At this time of year, I want to share my gratitude for being a part of this transformative education. Ayurveda truly offers a new beginning. Here's a student from Ohio, writes in, I am thankful and grateful for you and the creation of Joyful Belly. You have a stellar group of teachers, yourself included, and I feel truly blessed to have been led down this path as part of my journey. Here's from a gastroenterologist. As far as the course, it has been an eye-opening experience for me as a pediatric gastroenterologist. There's so much I have been doing as an allopathic physician for the past 22 years and wish that I had stepped into Ayurveda sooner. It's not too late, however, as I grasp the Ayurveda concept, understanding why, how, and what should be done has become easier, and I'm enjoying that very much. Thank you. So our courses are about awakening to your body and how it functions. You will feel like you know your body and how it operates, and not on a reductionist biochemical level only, but on a very basic experiential level, that you will be able to interpret events and make sense of them in the context of your whole body. That is a great gift that Ayurveda offers. And it gives you a vision, a certain vision that you really can't get with just studying the a sort of Western anatomy and physiology. There's something more, and I'm very excited to have an opportunity to show that technique to you. All right, great. Great. So why study Ayurveda? People come to study Ayurveda because they want to create something wholesome in the world. They want to live a life of meaning and generosity. They know that the natural way is the best foundation for health. People come to Ayurveda because they have a mission. They want to do something great with the little time they have here on earth. And they see in Ayurveda something special, something right as rain, something very natural. And they want to bring that natural perspective to their community. Sometimes people are inexplicably drawn to Ayurveda and inspired by it and don't even quite know why. Maybe it's the tasty food. Maybe it's how it integrates the physical, our physical health with our spiritual health. But whatever it is, people start to recognize that there's something more to Ayurveda. It's more than just a new herb to use. It's more than just a eat this for that disease, but it's a whole new way of thinking about the body. And they want to get into the heart of that. They want to get into the heart of that method. It's not enough to read a book. It's not enough to get some health tips. They want to live it. They want to breathe it, immerse themselves in it. They want to know it through and through. The kind of medicine that Ayurveda offers was practiced by the whole ancient world, from the British Isles all the way to the southern tip of India, and even to some extent in Chinese medicine, the biocharacteristic theory of medicine. And this old Silk Road trade routes where the knowledge was sort of brought along these old trade routes, and people shared their insights and developed it. It was in the same way that people share Western medical insights around the world today. And so that whole system, once the biochemical theory of medicine came in the mid 1600s, that whole system was pushed to the side. And there were tremendous and awesome and wonderful new advancements in Western medicine, but there were some great things that were lost in that process. And that's what we are here to recover, is what are the gems? What is the approaches that we're missing because of that radical change that happened in the 1650s? Just totally abandoned the old technique. And what was valuable then? What can we bring back? That's what we are. That's what we're doing. I want to mention that I've never met an Ayurveda practitioner who regretted studying Ayurveda. I know many, many students who regret not studying Ayurveda, who keep postponing it year after year, for one reason or another, and it doesn't, things don't change, and it just, and they sort of never get on the train, so to speak. But I've never met a practitioner who regrets studying Ayurveda. They've been practicing for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years later, and they still love it. I still love it. So in our courses, we make it possible for less than a grocery bill each month to study and get an Ayurveda education and integrate that your physical world with your whole even mental outlook. So I say that Ayurveda integrates our spiritual life and emotional life and our physical life, and not in a particular spiritual way. We won't be offering any spiritual training from any specific tradition. But what we will show you is how your physical state of being influences your attitude and influences the level of stability in your nervous system, and even some of your beliefs and ways of thinking about the world, how that can come from imbalances in the body. And that will give all of us who take these Ayurveda, who study Ayurveda, and your clients, the opportunity to be freed of that influence that their body has on their way of thinking, and that they can exercise their they can think more clearly, and without that distortion that that body can sometimes create when it's out of balance. And so I'll be very excited to have, for all of you to have that groundedness and stability as you go through the course. So plenty of people do regret not studying Ayurveda. They postpone studying year after year, hoping that something will change. And I'm just going to say that I think Ayurveda is the change. Ayurveda, learning it is a little bit like learning to ride a bicycle. It feels a little awkward at first because it's a different way of thinking. It is it is not the scientific method, but it's a rational approach. It's a rational approach that there are other philosophical approaches than the scientific method that that we need to learn, that have a sound basis. And Ayurveda is one of those. And it's a little awkward at first. It feels a little bit like riding a bicycle. You're not exactly sure you can trust it to stay upright. But then once you get the hang of it, you see how it makes sense. And that happens about 7 months in. So the first 7 months you'll be in the course and trying to put those pieces together, and it will be just a little bit beyond your grasp. And then around at that 7th month, it'll click in. You're like, okay, how come I did not see this before? And it's that's an exciting moment for people. All right, is Ayurveda a good career choice? Once people realize they love Ayurveda and want it, they ask themselves the second question: is this practical? Can I do this? Is this a good career choice? Will my parents be laughing at me for my silly choices 10 years down the line, or something along those lines, right? That's what we worry about. Will the people in our life think that this is a good choice for us? And I just want to say that I've seen many practitioners go ahead, graduate, and start a vibrant clinical practice. And here's how they do it. They get passionate about a specific health topic that is special to them, and they start building clientele in that area. And that's the important special formula, right? even Western medical doctors, when they graduate, they're not just like, okay, I'm going to begin offering Western medicine. What do? They get passionate about a particular topic. And then they're like, okay, I really want to study diabetes and I want to know everything about it. And I want to be the best clinician in diabetes. And it's the same for Ayurveda. If you, once you graduate, what you're going to want to do is maybe you're going to want to know everything about skincare and you're going to go beyond the course in that special area. And then you're going to develop a reputation for being great in skincare. And then clients will come to you. And that's how it happens. That's how it happened for me. You can probably guess already what I specialized in. It was digestion. And now people come to me as a respected expert in the field of digestion. And I can help people in that area with a lot of depth. So health and wellness industry is not an alternative medicine. That term alternative medicine, we need to throw it out, because health and wellness expenditures globally exceed expenditures in Western medicine. I know that sounds hard to believe, but according to the Global Wellness Institute, wellness expenditures at 4.2 trillion are more than half of total global health expenditures, which were 7.3 trillion. So, and the health and wellness expenditures are growing twice as fast as the economy. So there are lots of people doing very well in this market. There's lots of opportunity. You might even have seen there's just lots of influencers on YouTube or Instagram, and all that's a sign of just the richness of opportunity in the health and wellness field. And so, yes, is there a market? Yes, trillions of dollars. There have been tremendous changes that have pushed the health and wellness professionals forward in our society. Some of it has been frustration with Western medicine. Some of it has been the side effects of pharmaceuticals. Oftentimes you'll see all these warnings about herb-drug interactions and all that kind of stuff. But the fact is that the pharmaceuticals alone kill hundreds of thousands of people a year, and in side effects and other, and other serious medical errors. And so just herbs and food are not that dangerous. And so we see the warnings, but we know, and those of us who are practitioners know, that it's just very rare that somebody dies from taking an herb. And so that frustration with pharmaceuticals and the desire for safe medicine has led to a huge growth in the health and wellness industry. And I'm going to just say right off the bat that Ayurveda is essential for that comprehensive quality of life care. And it's an essential tool. In fact, probably the only tool. We could talk about Chinese medicine, right? But what's the difference between Chinese medicine and Ayurveda is that people don't go home and stick needles in themselves after going to an acupuncture appointment. But in Ayurveda, when you go see an Ayurveda practitioner, you learn how to live at home in a way that's supportive for you. And so I'm not saying that Ayurveda is better than Chinese medicine or worse or anything like that. What I am saying is that in some sense, Ayurveda is for the people. It's something that we teach to the community, and then the community goes home and does it. And that way you get to be a part of a person's life in a deeper way, I think, than any other modality out there. And that should be something that excites a person, a person-oriented person, right? If you're a person who loves people and loves to help people, I think Ayurveda will satisfy your thirst in that area. So Ayurveda has become very well known. I went to, and not just in the yoga community, right? I went to a teleconference that was attended by 1,000 Yoga Alliance yoga teachers, which was 3 times what they normally get for someone hosting a presentation. So they wanted Ayurveda, but it's not just the yoga community. I gave a teleconference at a Christian health a Christian health conference for alternative healers, and 1,600 people registered on Joyful Belly that day. So I say that because Ayurveda is not just an interest of yogis, but people from all backgrounds and worldviews have come to recognize Ayurveda has something special to offer to health. It doesn't matter where you live. Sometimes people in the rural towns have the most need of Ayurveda, and there's very little competition for health and wellness services in those small towns. And those clinicians do better than in a competitive urban landscape. But as I said, I think that the Ayurveda opportunity is just so new that it's just very undersaturated, right? There's more, every community needs more Ayurvedic practitioners in it, in this country. I'm not going to say it's easy for you to build a career in Ayurveda. Like any profession, if you want to be successful, you have to be passionate about it. You have to be focused, and then you will succeed. And we want to be a part of that. We want to be a part of helping you succeed. I'm going to give you, I'm going to talk about some of the mistakes I made when I first started my practice, and how I overcame them, and give you training so that the public, you can reach the public with the skills that you're learning, and be on the cutting edge of a trend in our society. All right, great. I also want to just talk a minute about licensing and accreditation of our courses, because that's a practical question that students ask. We are licensed to teach Ayurveda by the state of North Carolina. And if any one of you run a school, you know that it is a strict, stringent policy. And if you see a school is licensed by the state, you know that that school has that stability, and also has gone through that examination so that everything is in good order at the school. That's important. Some schools will seek an exemption to licensing, and we don't recommend that. I'm the current president of the National Association of Ayurveda Schools and Colleges, and we recommend to all of our schools that they get a license, that they're well organized and in order, so that they can offer that that skill, or that level of order confers over to a great education. All right, we're accredited by the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. We are a member, and I'm also the current president of the National Association of Ayurveda Schools and Colleges. We're certified by APNA. We are also approved by the American Association of Biocharacteristics Clinicians, representing Greek medicine, Unani Tib, and Ayurveda professionals. But I do also want to mention, because many students have this question about licensing, is that, what do they have to do after graduation in order to start practicing? And the answer to that is nothing. You do not need to pass any board exam or join. You don't need to join AADP or AAP or APNA or AABC or any organization in order to begin your practice. You can legally see clients once we give you your certification, and once you have the training to not hurt your clients, then you can begin seeing clients. And I know some folks on the call today are from Canada and other countries around the world. And I'm just going to mention that in Canada, Ayurveda is also unlicensed, so you do not need any additional certification or board certification process after you graduate. But you can, if you want, you can register as a health coach with AADP. You can register as an Ayurveda food consultant after taking the digestive course with APNA. You can register as an Ayurveda health counselor with APNA, or with AABC. You can register as a digestive health coach with AABC after taking MID, or an Ayurveda health counselor with AABC. So you have a number of options for joining some third-party associations if you wish to have those additional certification with those organizations, but it's not required. All right. I want to go through a little bit about what's unique about our programs. What's unique about Joyful Belly is that we show you how to be a teacher of health. I've already said the difference between Ayurveda and acupuncture is that we teach clients how to live at home, how to, what foods are supportive for them, what lifestyle approaches are supportive for them. And so our students have to be great teachers. So we have to teach you how to teach. And that's why in Ayurveda, probably more than any other health and wellness profession, communication skills are so important. And our teachers are hired for their great communication skills, not just their command of the material. We educate our teachers in pedagogy, which pedagogy is the art of teaching, when they come on board. So that it's not enough that our teachers are experts of Ayurveda. They have to be good at relating. They have to be good at teaching. And my whole life, I have been a passionate teacher in one capacity or another. And it takes one to know one. I have a calling to teach, and so I can recognize when someone else has a calling to teach too. And we look for those individuals, those special, unique individuals for whom teaching is a passionate love of theirs. I started teaching when I was a student at Harvard University in the computer science and math department. Well, when I was a junior, I was asked by my professors at Harvard to teach as a teaching fellow. And then I continued teaching at Harvard in the extension school after I graduated for years. Then I started a consulting firm, and consultants are teachers. And I taught for 10 years or so. I rode that whole .com wave up and down, right? I built a venture capital funded company, and then sort of went through a dark night of the soul, so to speak, or realized I had to live my life in a new way. I started my adult journey as a mathematician at Harvard, because I thought math was truth, and I thought that math would lead me to understanding, just the deeper truths of existence and our humanity and all of that. But eventually I came to the conclusion that there were just some big limitations in math, right? And I think everyone knows this, that you can't use math to get to love, right? And other things that are basic to our human condition. So I went into business, and I thought, okay, I'll learn more about people in business, and I did that for 7 years or so, and rode that whole venture capital.com wave up and down, and then I realized that of course everyone knows this, is that there's some limitations to understanding people just through business. It's too opportunistic. So I left that and started traveling around the world. And I spent 4 months in Paris and ate delicious food. I moved to Morocco, and I lived in Morocco for a while, studied Islam and Islamic architecture. And then I lived in Bangladesh for a year. And I got very sick when I was in Bangladesh. I was studying Bengali folk music in the villages of Bangladesh after having studied the Bengali language for 10 years. And I got very sick. And that's when I started sort of looking for health solutions, and eventually realized and came upon Ayurveda, which seemed to satisfy so many different aspects of what I was seeking in my journey as a person. And that was very exciting to find some of the deeper understanding of the body. And so what started out in math as a seeking to define truth eventually led me towards a direct study of the human body and how we work. And that that's a little bit of my journey. There's more to it, but I will. What I will say is that my whole life I've been a passionate teacher, and in our school we focus on giving students great clinical skills, great teaching skills, and developing that intuition of the body through building up that knowledge of Ayurveda's methods and anatomy and physiology. So our course will be challenging. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You're going to feel like you're learning. Sometimes you will feel like you're drinking water from a fire hose in our courses. But it won't be beyond your capacity. It won't be difficult to understand. It's just a lot of information. So it's experiential. You're going to learn by doing. And you'll get that confidence, and you'll put together the pieces. You won't be saying things that you won't be able to justify. And that's exciting. And people with busy lives can take our courses, and do. All the people who take our courses are busy lives. Our courses are made for people who are, who are ambitious. And so all of our students have busy lives. I have a busy life. I have 6 kids, and we have a vibrant household. You can imagine, and so all of I know that you're busy, and we're busy, and we've designed the course to be from the beginning an online course for people who are professionals. So it's doable. That's why we chose an online format, and we didn't move online with COVID. We created this school as an online school 15 years ago because we believed that multimedia tools offered the best opportunity for students to understand Ayurveda. We still believe that. There's a lot of scientific research that backs that up, and that's why traditional classroom settings are moving to an online format. And we've specialized in that for 15 years. And so we've worked out a lot of those kinks. All right, our student body. Here's some things that our prospective students have said. I'm looking to do a full-on career change, doing what I love. I want a career that fits with my family life. I want to help my local community. My children have grown and left the house. I have time for myself and my own interests again. I'm a lifelong learner. I want to benefit personally and also work on my health issues. What are the different types of professions that typically sign up to our courses? Nurse practitioners, yoga teachers, estheticians, spa owners, dermatologists, medical doctors, functional medical doctors, medical practitioners, mental health and social workers who know that part of mental health is you got to be healthy. And anyone who wants to become a healer or enthusiastic about Ayurveda joins our courses. What do students do after they graduate? Some integrate Ayurveda into their yoga classes, retreats, or studio. One student in the pre-conversation that we had today talked about how she intends to integrate Ayurveda into her trauma practice. She helps people with trauma. Some of our graduates teach Ayurveda at hospitals, spas, and universities. Some run their own schools. Some cook healthy food at a cafe or a restaurant. We had one student that worked on a celebrity yacht, and now it's just cooking beautiful, healthy food for the guests on the yacht. Our students integrate Ayurveda into quality of life care as a nurse. They write books and create movies about Ayurveda. They offer diet and lifestyle consulting at integrative clinics, team up with someone in your area. They introduce Ayurveda in a mental health clinic. Really, any situation where you're taking care of others is an opportunity to bring Ayurveda into your life. Sometimes people think like, oh, it's so expensive. $6,900, $6,999 is the tuition for the 2-year course. And you know, when you're a student sort of thinking about making that big decision to register in our Ayurveda course, first of all, it's, you know, the biggest thing people are thinking about is that, you know, $6,999. But I'll say your investment in time is actually much greater than that, right? So if you're wondering about whether to invest in it, be thinking about the time investment, not so much the financial investment. Really, in the scope of things for health, I mean, how much are you paying for health insurance right now, right? For the amount of money that people spend on health, $6,999 is not, or 30, what does that come out to? 3,500 a year. 3,500 a year is not a lot of money for an entire education, right? Even though it's hard, I'm not going to minimize it because not everyone can afford it, and I know that, and I don't mean to minimize that at all if you're in that position. But I just want to put things in perspective in terms of like what health cost is, and how what you learn here will help you your entire life, and every single person that you love, it will help them too. And if you start a clinical practice, every single person that that you provide your services to will benefit from this. So in light of that, the cost is very little from a financial perspective. The cost in time is bigger, but it's worth it, because what are we here for, right? We're here to know ourselves. We're here to know the people around us. We're here to get that deeper perspective. It's incredibly gratifying, and a happy choice, and that is wonderful. Another thing that I want to mention is that for some people may only have a vague idea of like how to make this work in their life. And I'm just going to say that when I started as an Ayurveda student, I didn't know what path I was going to take exactly. And in our course, our students discover that usually within the first year. You know, they're kind of working through and being introduced to different areas and Ayurveda's perspectives, and then they just catch a few sparks, and they nourish those sparks and develop them, and before they know it, they have their vision, and they have their business plan and career path and all that kind of in a much more solid place. So, you know, if you're sort of wondering what your calling is in the health field, I think that that this is the kind of course that can just help you or get organized and crystallize that vision. All right, good. So I said that I would talk in the beginning about the, you know, what's it like studying Ayurveda, and just I've tried to give this at a very sort of high level perspective, simply because you know, just so you get the feeling of it. And then now I want to talk a little bit more about course format and scope, so that you understand exactly what it is that you're going to get. Okay, so the fundamentals of Ayurvedic medicine, the 2-year course. It's 180 pre-recorded presentations split up by week. You get 3 of them a week, so that's 60 weeks total. And so you can do the mental math there. It's 52 weeks in a year. There's roughly 60 weeks total. It's 30 weeks a year. So there's about 22 weeks of breaks in the program. I said that this was for busy professionals, right? So 22 weeks is your time for vacations and you know, catch up and rest. And you know, we know you're a parent taking care of a parent. Sometimes our students are parents who are taking care of kids and taking care of their parents who are aging, and they have a job, right? How do you do it? Well, we give you lots of breaks. 3 weeks off for the holidays and New Year's, for example. And you're never really more than a month or 5 weeks from a break in the course. Catch your breath, catch up on things. And one of the things that we're big on is helping our students develop a good routine so that your family doesn't feel like you disappeared or anything like that. That's not going to happen. You're going to have time with your family. You're going to have time with your kids. The courses will not take over your life. Won't be easy, but it won't take over your life either. And we pay a lot of attention to that for you, and literally study how long each assignment takes so that we can optimize it for your schedule. So 3 presentations a week, and then you're going to get 3 live Q&A. So you listen to the presentation, then you do the homework, and the active learning quizzes and all that, right? The quiz, the homework is designed to like bring that knowledge into practice and to give you an experience of it. And then we meet to talk about the homework that we've done 3 times a week. We'll talk about the presentation and the homework in our live Q&As that we put at staggered times for all time zones, and we record every one of them. If something comes up at work and you can't attend, no big deal. You listen to the recording. And that's so that. And then in your clinical training, you're going to get 80 supervised clinical and 80 supervised client encounters, 15 buddy consultations, and 8 body system assessments. It ends up in the end that you get nearly double the clinical training that you'll get anywhere else in the 2 years. Our course, as I said before, our course has a focus in your clinical excellence, and so that's reflected in the nearly double the amount of clinical experience that you get through our course, and that's exciting. Some people, they say, oh, they want to do it in a year. There's no way that anyone's doing this course in a year. And we see students all the time that say, okay, I can do it in a year, and they try, and then they're like, oh no, this makes much more sense to do it in 2 years, not just because of workload, but because you want the time to absorb the concepts as you're learning them. You don't want to rush through this, right? So what's best is you have a little bit of space in your schedule, you learn the concepts, and then you have time to think about them and absorb them, and before you get to the next week. So students who say they want to do it in a year, we've never had a person who once they saw the course didn't see the wisdom of slowing down a little bit and digesting what it is that they're learning, even if they didn't have a job or anything and just had all this extra time. So 2-year course is really the minimum for learning Ayurveda, and that's why we have it in 2 years, not a 1-year course. The Mastering Ayurveda Digestion Nutrition course is 60 pre-recorded presentations on all major digestive tract pathologies, and each pathology, whether it's colon cancer or liver gallbladder disease or enzyme insufficiency, IBS or IBD, they are each pathology gives us an opportunity to discuss a range of imbalances, so that even though we may be discussing all the major digestive pathologies, you'll also be able to read between the lines for other pathologies that aren't covered in the course. In other words, you'll get a broad understanding of all imbalances in the digestive tract from Ayurveda's point of view, so that you can apply it to the main Western disorders. I'm talking here to the gastroenterologists who are used to thinking about disease in terms of the Western name of them. But we'll be using common Western disorders as a sort of structure for discussing all the main imbalances from an Ayurveda perspective that you can have in the digestive tract. So in that course, you'll also have 3 live classes per week. and we'll be discussing case studies each week, food and herb experiments, as well as the main presentations. In the digestion and nutrition course, you will also develop a therapeutic protocol on a specific disease that you share with the class. So that's exciting. So your classmates will give you all kinds of insights into other pathologies that they're interested in. About the course format, for the live coaching calls, if you miss, as I said before, if you miss the scheduled time, or you're in a different time zone, no problem. All the classes are recorded for those who can't attend a particular lecture. And as I said, our live classes are scattered time-wise, so that people from every time zone have a live class that they can attend and interact with the teacher. So what about your time commitment? For the health counselor 2-year course, 12 to 13 hours a week. For the digestive 1-year course, 8 to 12 hours a week. Now, I give this range here, but for some folks, it's a little different. So if you're a Western medical doctor, the digestive course will probably take you 6 to 7 hours a week. If you are already an Ayurveda practitioner, the digestive course will take you 6 to 7 hours a week. But if you're not a practitioner, an Ayurveda practitioner, or a Western nurse, medically trained nurse or doctor, the course will probably take you in the range of 8 to 12 hours a week. So if you're a yoga teacher or a massage therapist or something like that, that course will take you about 8 to 12 hours a week, most likely. Same with AHC. You're going to be a little bit less if you have, the more training you have in advance, you may be 10 hours a week for the AHC course, or maybe 9. Now, if you're like me, you might spend 14 to 15 hours a week. I'm like, you already know, I went to Harvard for math, right? So like, education is important to me, and great academics are really important to me. And that, so I designed the course in that way too, right? So you know that you're getting a training you're getting trained by somebody who really cares about education and has demonstrated excellence in education, right? So that's good. That should give you confidence. But I'm also just going to say, like, I spend more time studying than other people because I get really into the material. So I'd be like the 14, 15 hour a week student, not because I'm slower, but because I just want more, right? And that is, so some of you may be in that category too, but loosely 12 to 13, 8 to 12 hours a week, okay? All assignments and tests are graded pass, fail. It's a very non-competitive environment. At the school, we want our students to be helping each other out, and they do. We have online chat and support. Lots of people don't have access to a health and wellness community in their local area. Well, you will have a lifelong community once you take this course, and you won't be never talking to your fellow students again. But for the rest of your clinical practice, you will be bouncing ideas off of each other, and that's what our current graduates do. Great thing about studying about these pre-recorded presentations. I just want to talk about those pre-recorded presentations for a minute. We developed them as a team of Ayurveda practitioners, not just John's Ayurvedic perspective, my Ayurvedic perspective, but a team of Ayurveda practitioners' perspectives, and challenging each other, bouncing it off. We spent like 50 hours designing each presentation in the course. So if you do the math on that, 50 times 180, you can see the incredible amount of attention that's been paid to development of the curriculum in our course. And that's very different. At other schools, you'll see people bringing in celebrity practitioners who aren't really even talking to each other. They don't know the students, and they're not spending 50 hours on each presentation, making sure it's part of a cohesive whole and part of, that it all fits together into a great one big education, right? So it's important to know that that we have a dedicated team of teachers that we teach how to teach at Joyful Belly. Um, and then so we develop those pre-recorded presentations, and you can listen to them when your brain is at its best. It's not just that, I remember when I was a student, my 2 p.m. class after lunch, I fell asleep every day, every day, and that, when I was in high school. And so, that's not when I'm fresh. I wake up at 5 in the morning and I do my studying until, around 10 a.m. So 5 to 10 a.m. that's 5 hours where my brain is on it. And then, I'm moving into a different headspace then. Well, my wife, her brain is alive and awake from 7 p.m. until midnight. So that's when she does her studying. And that's what you want, is you want to do your studying when your brain is at its best. And that's what those pre-recorded presentations give you. They give us the opportunity to create a real excellent work of art for you. And it allows you to study it at the time that is most convenient, where you're most engaged, ready to engage with the material. Your brain is fresh to engage with the material. So that's exciting. Let's see here. How to register and other little details like start time. The 2-year fundamental course that starts at the last week of August. So 4 months from now, roughly, or 3 months and 2 weeks. So register now, get started on the reading. Right? That's a little tip. If you're worried about this course taking a little too much time out of your schedule, register now, do the reading before the course starts. And then you'll be like those other folks that I said before on this page, that 12 to 13 hours a week is for people who aren't, who don't have a background in Ayurveda. But if you're doing the reading for the course in advance, you'll have that background by the time the course starts. And then your time per week will be a few hours less for the whole course. And that can make the difference between your ability to take the course and not. So I just want to encourage you, if you're thinking you're going to take it, sign up now and get started on that reading. We'll send you the reading as soon as you register. And the digestive course starts the second week of October. So you've got another month and a half until that course starts. The tuition, $6,999 for the 2-year course. That breaks down to $250 a month. The digestive course, it's $4,499, and that's this month it's $300 a month. And basically, each month it goes, the monthly payment goes up because you have fewer months before graduation. So if you register now, $300 a month, you'll be paid off before graduation. But if you wait till June to register, you have one less month to do that. So the monthly cost will be like $330 or something like that. Also, I want to mention to everybody that if you, well, first I want to congratulate you for attending tonight's presentation and just taking a step in your interest towards health and wellness, because that is, every time you take a step towards understanding about health, it's contagious. It's not just that disease is contagious, health is contagious, and it radiates outward. So when you take an interest in health and in learning health, you're healing yourself, but then other people are like, ooh, what are you doing, right? How are you feeling so good, and what's your secret, and all that, and it radiates outward. So that is a great thing. So I do want to thank all of you for your interest in health, not just today, but in your life generally. And of course, a big thank you for choosing us, choosing Joyful Belly, and studying with us. I want to offer all of you who've made it to the end of the call a 10% scholarship. If you if you register in the next 5 days, I will give you a 10% scholarship towards tuition. So that'll be $700 off of your AHC tuition and $450 off your digestion tuition. So take advantage of that in the next 5 days. I am available to answer any questions that you have about our courses. I know it's a big step, and I'll tell you the biggest obstacles are always money. Can you afford the course? 2, time. Do I have enough time to do this course? 3, support. And by support, I mean, do the people that you love think this is a good choice for you? And so if you're really excited about Ayurveda, talk through those with me if you're concerned about any one of those areas, because I've helped a lot of students present their choice to their spouse who's like, what is that? Or a parent who's like, okay, I sent you, my parents were like, oh, I sent you to Harvard. Like, what is this that you're doing? And I had to put together a vision for my future for them. I wanted to satisfy them. They're my parents. I love them. And so I wanted to I wanted to show them that this was a solid choice I was making. And I needed to show them my vision. And so I can help you know your own vision, basically. So text me if you want to talk about the course. There's my number right there. It's +1 if you're outside the country, then 828-785-8213. I'm very excited to talk to prospective students about something we both love, right? I like what you like. And I will help you get through that. Same thing with time or the financials. I'll show you what other students have done to work it out, and we'll see how to make it possible for you. And I just want to show you, if you are ready to register and take the big step, here's how you do it. So you're on Joyful Belly. Here, I'll just sign out of my own account. Okay, there we go. So you click on wellness courses. Oh, let me share my screen here. There's the Joyful Belly homepage, www.joyfulbelly.com. And then you click on wellness courses here. And then you click on, let's say, Fundamentals of Ayurvedic Medicine, 2-year health counselor program. You see this blue button here, register now for $250 a month. When you register in the next 5 days, I will automatically apply that 10% scholarship to you, to your account. And we'll send you, after you register, your welcome packet over email, and that'll give you the link to your application and also everything you need to get started. We'll give you preliminary course material, the reading list for the course, everything as soon as you register, so that you can get going and start learning, which I highly recommend. One of my secrets to surviving the Harvard math department was that I would buy the Yale math textbooks over the summer for the courses I was taking, and I read them all. And people were like, what? You spent your summer, reading math books? No, I spent my summer at the beach, and I also read math books. And while all of the other students were sweating it out, trying to figure everything out, working really hard, but not getting anywhere, I was confident in my courses, and I excelled, and I advanced beyond that of my peers very quickly, because I took that proactive approach to learning. And I just recommend that for you also, is just start doing the reading. Just start letting it sink in. Maybe you won't understand it the first time around, but then when you learn it in the course, it'll be the second time around. It won't be the first time around, and you will it will be solid for you. So anyway, that's one strategy for reducing time. And I will also tell you other great study strategies to reduce your time. Again, I want to thank you all for being here today, for choosing Joyful Belly, for choosing Ayurveda, for choosing health, for taking action towards health. It's a great thing. I want to be a part of your community. I want to be a part of folks that are exploring. And so I'm excited to be here today, and hope